All right, friends. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Monday. Welcome back to another week of trading your life for more sats. All right, we got a fun one this week. We got the possibility for deeper pullbacks, or we got the possibility for more of just 3% range madness. So let me read chat, and then we're going to do the Bitcoin outlook and then kind of what I'm more excited about, which is TLDR, the ETH trade, ETH continuation. Also, Hyperliquid looks pretty good. I'm covering hype in the cookbook this week. If you guys have been reading the cookbook, you guys should check that out. Last 2 weeks I covered hype. Both those plans played out. I'm pretty sure we've covered it on stream. I don't have a memory that good to know every single thing that I cover on streams. They are 2 hours long and once a week. But we've been nailing it over there. Also, for people that are asking, I do have Paragon discount codes. I'll drop it in a little bit. I should have dropped it in the description. Fuck, that was an oversight. I should have done that. Oh well, maybe I'll edit it afterwards. But yeah, good week. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see you all's in here. As always, seeing some new names, which is super exciting. And then a lot of returning names. What's up, man? Good morning, everyone. You know, there was a time my stream was so small I could say good morning to everyone, but now it would take me a couple minutes. Sleepy week books look shitty. PPI, CPI, non-favor, September rate cut prediction wrecked. Let's see for 110. I think the opportunity is open for bears. And I say that because we are currently trading below the daily trend. We're currently trading below the 4-hour trend, below the 30-day rolling, below the 7-day VWAP, below our composite value. Like we're kind of tracking back in there, but bears are in control the same way bulls were in control here, right? It's almost the mirror opposite, right? We had a push outside of value, we dropped back in, held the 4-hour trend, and made another push. We are holding the 4-hour trend to the downside, we pushed outside of value, and we're attempting, bulls are going to attempt to take back the reins here. Bears are going to attempt to kind of just use everything to their advantage in this location. So another kind of low time frame choppy fight for a little bit. If bears win, rotation back to 120. If bulls win, rotation back to 120. If bears win, the door is open to the weekly. And that's going to be a place where I always tell you guys I'm the most bullish. Those are my highest size trades, highest conviction trades. Anytime I get these tags, we always send it. So once again, I will be sending it if we do get the confluence here. There's so much confluence, by the way, at 110. I don't think this is a place where you should overthink it. Prior all-time highs, right? All this resistance here, probably flipping to support. Daily 100 tag, 90-day rolling VWAP, and the yearly value area high, right? It's just multiple pronged confluence in that region if we get it. Today's song suggests time to chill. Maybe it's the house theme song, man. House MD. There are no hidden meanings in the songs. I hope no one got swept up on alt euphoria last week. Was there alt euphoria or was there just Chainlink euphoria? What other altcoins did well? Like Pump did something, but if this is giving us euphoria nowadays, like what the hell happened to crypto? I think the only one that genuinely like deserves it is probably Chainlink. Outside of that, like if you weren't long Chainlink, what are you euphoric on, to be honest? Maybe ETH? Let's go. Joining Paragon today. Didn't hear it. Let me drop the code. It's code Mojito. Oh my god, I spelled it wrong. Code Mojito at checkout for a discount on Paragon signups. I think it's a pretty solid discount. I can't remember if it's 20% or what, but I think it's around there. So I made the code for the first time ever, and I kind of did it as a joke because Charlie, well-deserved, earned family vacation for the first time in a while. So he was hanging out with his family, and he told me just one time, he's like, I've been enjoying mojitos this week. So I was like, great code for the next stream. Also forgot the coin. Look at this, dude. Offer, I need to put you on the payroll, man. I need to get you signed up as an intern. Thank you for the reminder, brother. Yeah, good mornings. First time listener, welcome, Sam. Happy Monday. Like the video. Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you guys get the like button. Do you think it's more likely we front run 110? I think we front ran it the last time. So 110 got front run last time because there's a perfect 4-hour demand block here. And there was confluence of the quarterly value area low. So I'm going to quickly move over to the VWAP chart. So perfect tag of the quarterly value area low here, confluent with the 4-hour demand, which gave us our reaction. We did front run 110 and we front ran the weekly trend, which at the time was all the way down at 107. I think this time, if you visit it, if we you know, continue to reject away from value and we're not able to reaccept, we're probably going to take out, you know, the monthly lows, right? So we set the monthly low to open up August. If we continue bleeding below 115, 114, I do think this time around you'll probably get the daily 100 tag and yearly VWAP and all that, right? It doesn't have to be a perfect tag. You can drop down lower and whatever, but I do think the weekly will come into play this time around if we do lose the composite value area lows. The music is blasting in my ears. Hopefully it's not that loud for you guys. It's also up 20. Oh, Bio. Bio did good. Bio's a coin that one of my friends are bullish on. Thank you, Slimy. Thank you. Arrow did good, but I meant when all of CT starts calling for alt season for the 100th time, I think that's fair. I mean, my entire feed was just Chainlink posting. I didn't see any alt season posting. I didn't see any Euphoria posting. But, you know, it's an echo bubble because I'm friends with so many Link Marines that I follow a lot of Link Marines, so that when Link goes up, it's all my feed is. It's just every single post on my feed is just Chainlink posts. Pay me by stopping to dodge my chart requests. Hey man, we'll look at your coin this week. Doc, is the daily is broken for you if the daily candle closed below the daily in 4 hours? So the way that I look at trend loss is if low time frame trends bully us through high time frame trends. That's my only discretion with trend loss. So people always wonder, is it a low time frame candle close? Is it a wick? Is it a daily candle close? I simply look at it this way. Look, let's say you've got a 4-hour trend, right? And price is moving along the 4-hour trend, right? And then you've got a daily trend down here. And every time the 4-hour trend is lost, we get support at the daily and we come back up and maybe we restart trading on the 4-hour. I look at daily trend loss when this presses down and the 4-hour trend now starts bullying us through the daily, right? If we cannot reclaim and we're starting to get bullied by the 4-hour trend, that's what I look at as trend loss. That's when I always start saying, hey, the gap is open. The gap is open for business. That's when I kind of start calling for that kind of stuff. But you should note that there is keys to recognize these things ahead of time. When you're coming and talking about trends, right? Let's say the first tag of the trend pushes you super high. The next tag of the trend barely pushes higher. And the next tag of the trend sets a lower high. You can already starting to kind of see this momentum loss play out in real time, especially if like the first few just kind of deviate and reclaim. You kind of know that the momentum is being lost and you're probably going to get that daily trend tag eventually. So same kind of concepts apply here for the weekly and the daily. The first time, You know, we tagged the daily, we got a lower high. The next time we deviated. You know, the daily trend is starting to flatten out. We're not respecting it. We're not holding it as support. We're trading below it. So the daily trend is becoming less and less and less usable for me as a signal, right? The same way that it was down here when I started saying the same thing. I think the first time we were down here, I kind of speculated, say, hey, this is kind of open for business. Did it scam upwards again and then bounce around before we finally got the tag? Yes. Are we kind of doing the exact same thing? Yeah. So even if we drive up one more time to 120, I'd still think that this is like kind of in play inevitably. Sentiment low near all-time. See, here's the thing, Stardust. You're saying the exact opposite thing that, who said it earlier? Someone said earlier, like, CT's calling for all-time highs and they're euphoric and they're calling for alt season, right? So it's just, you have to be very careful with these things because the algo is just going to be curated based on what you engage with. You engage, you follow, you know, bears, and you engage with that kind of stuff, that's what your feed's going to be. You know, you follow a bunch of link marines, your entire feed's going to be link posting, right? You follow a bunch of turbo bulls, all you're going to hear is altcoin euphoria. So just be very careful with that kind of stuff when it comes to sentiment analysis. All right, we're going to get caught up and then I want to get focused and finish the Bitcoin outlook. I kind of half-assed it because I'm talking to chat. So I want to finish the Bitcoin outlook and then go to ETH because I think ETH is hyper important and hyper clean. Do we have a value area low reclaim? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Hey, what's up, Stoic? Happy to see you in here, brother. Good morning, Doc. Where entry? Man, the highest quality entry from a swing basis on a high time frame perspective for me is going to be down at the 90-day rolling, daily 100 EMA, 110. On an intra-week, intraday basis, I didn't see anything super clean this morning on low time frame other than momentum loss, right? The signal here this morning was New York session opened, and all New York did, right? Here's how you can use your brain a little bit. Thursday, New York dumping. This is the first hour New York session. Friday, New York dumping. This is the first 4-hour candle of New York session. This is the first 4-hour candle of today's New York session. So New York didn't open up with aggression because we are already getting hammered for multiple days in a row. Combine that with the fact that the only thing that New York session did is remove the Sailor positioning from this morning. So a couple people longed into that Sailor announcement. That positioning was removed. This looks like low time frame momentum loss, and that gave you a little bit of an intraday kind of bounce trigger. For me, as far as the system that I use on low time frame, this is a bit difficult for me to action. I actually didn't take any trades on Bitcoin this morning. So from a low time frame basis, I don't like that. From a medium time frame basis, you can make the case that bears are failing to drive price below composite value area low, and they are failing to get that kind of expansion away. Anytime I trade with a range or I trade with kind of a compression or a composite or anything like that, I look for two key things, either like strong expansions away or trends to carry me away, right? At this moment, the thing that bears are looking at is, will they be able to capitalize on the next 4-hour trend tag here? If they cannot defend here, we're inevitably probably going to come back to like 119, 120, back to the composite value area high. You're just ping-ponging away from value. Like, if you're not an intraday trader, low time frame trader, scalper, mean reverter, if you don't have an edge playing these kind of things on BTC, I would just stay away from it. This is very clean for a guy like me that's been, hyper focused on Bitcoin low time frame for the past year. In fact, I think June and July are some of my best trading months ever. I think the last 30 days, my win rate's like 80% or something on trading Bitcoin. So, for me, this is a dream, but, I understand a lot of people are not enjoying this meta. Good morning, Zed. Just saw your message. So I've been mid-curving the hell out of my first cycle. Hey, I mid-curved the hell out of my first cycle too. I was kind of a tourist here in the 2020-2021 cycle, but I also was way too scared to buy alts. I stuck to Bitcoin and ETH spot. I didn't venture on chain. I didn't try anything new. I didn't farm DeFi protocols until DeFi Kingdoms. That was my introduction to DeFi. It was a good mid-curve cycle for me. It was a good learning experience. What do you define as daily and weekly trends? All right, here we go. We got a bot for this, boys. All right, check the chat. Parth and Firestorm. What indicator is that shows the rolling VWAP on the right side? This is my own doc levels indicator. I had a homie build this for me. I can put whatever I want on it. VWAPs, EMAs, statics such as Monday open, last week's high, last week's low, monthly open. So I can have all the levels that I want and don't really need to clutter my chart with 50 different indicators, right? Look how ugly this looks if you put everything on it all at the same time, right? It's disgusting. So the levels indicator is something that I had a homie build for me. Paragon has one as well. I'm looking to gig along Bitcoin around 107, 100K on September pullback with some profits. If it sets up and you're holding the weekly, it seems like a good opportunity. Definitely. Yearly value area high, weekly trend overlapping in that region, 100%. Is MicroStrategy weakness a leading indicator like it's been all cycle? That's a good question. I want to put a pin in that. I'll come back to that. Hopefully salvage some X's because 50% is nice but not life-changing. If you're here to try to make life-changing money with no skill set, you're bound to lose all your money. If you're here to say, I want to get better at the game because I think there's an opportunity in this landscape and a lot of people haven't caught on yet, and I can work hard and develop an edge and build a skill set that allows me to extract profit over time, you will make it. If your mentality is I'm going to come in here and I'm just looking for the 5x, 10x, 50x, you may make some money, but you're going to give it all back. That's just how the game works. Press like, nerds. Appreciate you, Magus. Good morning. August in Bitcoin, there was a lot of confluence. Daily tagged, anchored VWAP from the last low, but they were defending mid-range. I was thinking, what now? Are we defending the trend, but we fell into the last range? August 14th. Yeah, right here, right? Daily trend. The thing you need to understand when you're trading in a range like this that is defined, the lowest EV bets you're going to get are going to be at the POC, right? You want to be taking trades at, failed breakouts, failed breakdowns, or, a lot of absorption, lack of momentum at the highs, lack of momentum at the lows. Like, you want to be looking for these signals at the extremities of price, not at the fair value of price, right? Not at the most traded volume. That's how I've been trading it, 9 out of my 10 trades. In this range, 90% of my trades, should I say. But yeah, I came into the week, I think last night I was looking at this and I was going, look, we don't even have any CME gap to trade. We held the monthly VWAP the entire weekend. There is a decent possibility that to start this week, we can push up. We're sitting on the monthly VWAP. Let me show you this real quick. We're sitting on the monthly, right? We sat on this all weekend. We're showing momentum loss for the bears, right? We're kind of rounding off a little bit. It looked decent. And we're holding the daily trend, right? And we're trading, after, nuking from 124. We could start this week with a little bit of bounce. The minute the weekly opened, we went straight down, right? So market had different plans. So there's a difference between trading because we're trading at a level and trading because you see a signal, right? So I had to learn this over time as well. It helped me with trade selection, right? Because I used to be a trader that's like, every time I get the setup, I'm going to take it, right? And I basically just have like, okay, every time I take this trade, I'm profitable 64% of the time, which over enough trades is going to build a profitable P&L curve. But nowadays I trade much more selectively and basically look for low time frame triggers so that I can really nail entries, right? Know where I'm wrong immediately. I don't have to take those 1-2R losses anymore. I don't have to place these kind of wide RR tools with like, okay, I'm just going to have a hard stop right here, right? It took me, it took me some time to start learning to trade like this, but I'm happy that I was like around the right people very early in my career, like Trader XO, who quickly told me like this kind of stop loss, bullshit is really dumb. Have invalidations based on your trades. Look for the kind of reactions you want at these levels. Somewhere in, late 2022, early 2023, that's the way that I shifted my trading. So I'm not going to just blindly long levels most of the time unless they're super high time frame and I've got a lot of stuff on my side. Okay, more or less caught up. We have to come back to MicroStrategy in a bit. I'll come back to MicroStrategy in a bit. That's a good question there. Okay, so I think we covered everything on Bitcoin. It wasn't this, a clear train of thought because I was answering questions along the way. So we'll do a quick TLDR on Bitcoin. TLDR on Bitcoin. The bears currently have an opportunity to drive us lower because we are trading underneath the daily once again. We are trading towards the lows, right? We aren't doing a great job holding outside of the composite value area low, which you could say is an early warning sign for bears, but the last thing that they have is the 4-hour trend. If the 4-hour trend starts trading below the daily and this caps price right here, this is an opportunity for bears to drive us lower. The same way it was right here for bulls, right? So you could look at this and say, hey, there's a deviation of our composite value area high. We dropped back into the range, but psych, all we did is we held the 4-hour trend, which is showing immense respect. And we drove higher to take liquidity, right? Same case right here, 4-hour trend showing immense respect. Once again, it could be a situation where bears hold price right here and drive us one leg lower. So keep that in mind. This is not the place, in my opinion, to be slamming longs at 17K, 117K, excuse me. There was a case to be made this morning on some low time frame momentum loss. If you didn't nail that for the kind of intraday move, I personally wouldn't be chasing here, but that's just me. The highest time frame or the highest confidence setup that I have is down at 110. I'm sure everyone in the market is looking at 110 for some reason or another. So it's probably not going to be the easiest long in the world. It's probably going to come with some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Maybe you get an ES correction. Maybe we get FUD on Bitcoin. Who knows how it comes? All I know is that is a high conviction region for me to want to action Bitcoin should it appear. Okay, let's move on to ETH. We've yapped about Bitcoin enough. ETH is even cleaner, man. ETH is by all metrics dominating Bitcoin on just about everything, right? ETHBTC is up. ETH has been trending while Bitcoin's been range bound. ETH has finally broken above this. Code Mojito at checkout, guys, if you want a discount on Paragon. ETH is finally trading above the final boss level, which is capped price this entire cycle, right? This is our May 21 highs. This is our September highs, where basically, El Salvador launched legalized Bitcoin or whatever. This is a deviation, rejection, extreme risk-off signal in the markets, rejection with the ETF going live, odds changing, rejection. This is our December top. We've blasted through it. If we get any tags of this region confluent with 110 Bitcoin, I think you send ETH here, right? This is your ETH high time frame swing long trigger. Now, what are the confluences here, right? You have your weekly point of breakdown, you have your high time frame SR level, now you got your daily trend as well. Daily trend is absolutely goated on ETH. Do it in your own time. Go back test this. The daily trend is absolutely goated on ETH going back years, right? So once again, a daily trend tag of this region I think looks phenomenal. Go over to the VWAP scan on ETH. Also very, very clean. Currently trying to hold outside the quarterly value area high, but if we get one tag lower, sweep into this region just a little bit, tag the monthly VWAP, that's confluent with your kind of final boss level, your 4K level and everything like that. I think that's a prime opportunity. Daily trend, monthly VWAP, I think even 30-day rolling is in that location. So multiple pronged confluent region here once again on ETH. So that's something that I'd be looking for swinging if I do get it. High conviction trade right there. Also, developing is not the cleanest composite yet, but since it has turned from a little bit of a trend to now consolidating, we have thrown on the fixed range volume profile here. So Just so much overlapping confluence in the 4K region. Now, the ultimate sign of strength that ETH can show is just front running this, right? If everyone is looking for this level, if ETH just wants to front run it, that is also well within its right to do so. Thoughts on Bitcoin Dom? I can check that out. Free indicator or paid? This one's just mine. The doc levels, this is not even public. It's just private. Paragon has a Paragon levels indicator in the group. ETH composite value arrow with daily trend bid looks good, or fake out and get back inside the value. I think it looks good. I mean, like I just said, I'm not going to rehash everything I just said, but yeah, I agree with you. Don't think FARTCOIN's PA turned from risk on signal saturation signal. I think FARTCOIN's completely irrelevant as far as the signal goes. I think it's kind of just, you know, it got too consensus of a trade. Everyone that wanted to own FARTCOIN owned FARTCOIN, and then we're all just kind of holding hands and praying that it goes up together. So the price action to me makes sense. Now it's probably going to go through some either price-based capitulation or time-based capitulation to get people to rotate out. So they can go risk on again. Classic just PvP market behavior with meme coins at the moment. What's your 4-hour trend? Okay, yeah, just exclamation point trend in the chat. Discounts? Yeah, let me do that again. I kind of quickly yapped over it, but code Mojito. There's a link for Paragon in the description if you guys are interested. We are running discounts right now. I'm only sharing these on stream because for me, like, I feel like Paragon does a lot of discounts, like, and it's already, you know, if you compare it to all the other groups out there, it's fucking cheap, in my opinion, for the library of education that's in there. Like, Magus just redid his education, and I swear, dude, he has a video for everything. Like, you could go in there, not knowing anything about markets, watch all his content, and come out pretty damn knowledgeable. Now, will that make you a profitable trader? No. But you will have the education to start working towards it. Just mountains and libraries of education. I have like 40-something videos myself in there. So yeah, check it out. I mean, why does it feel like fundamental news always comes out at key technical levels? It does feel like that. I've noticed that a couple times in my life. It could be coincidence. But you know, bad news getting absorbed at the levels you wanted to trade anyways is a good signal to take that trade. Can you please stop charting? What's up, Sassy? And look at strong coins such as, nope, I cannot, man, sorry. Can you do TA on FARTCOIN and Sol? Maybe in a little bit, yeah, I will. Thoughts on USD dominance as a tell for risk on alt season? I noticed that every time it tags 4% on the weekly, it signals a risk on regime, take profit. I think there's a couple people that I know that do use tether dominance as some sort of a signal. Like, here's the thing. Some people use total 3. Some people use ETHBTC. Some people use Bitcoin dominance. Some people use USD dominance, right? Some people use Bitcoin itself. I'm the guy that just uses Bitcoin itself, right? I think the clearest sign of risk on, risk off is just Bitcoin being strong, right? Bitcoin being strong gives all your altcoins infinite opportunity to do whatever the hell they want, right? For a short period of time. You don't need to like overthink it more than that. The second thing is the market regime has shifted a little bit where ETH is leading Bitcoin. So now you can look at signals where you think ETH is going to be strong. That'll be helpful for the rest of the market as well, right? Bitcoin is kind of range bound. ETH is in a trending environment. If you get those ETH bids in locations that you want, those are going to be the places where I think a lot of your altcoins will bottom synonymously. There is no 4-hour trend when I type trend. It's the first one. Sassy is hilarious. Sassy deserves to be canceled for everything that he posts on Twitter. I'm surprised your account hasn't been banned yet. When do you consider a range reclaimed? Is there an exact point where you say, okay, now it's highly likely we've reclaimed it. So what I look at is, I look at it as premium discount, right? So if you're trading at a premium, you're looking for signs of momentum loss for bulls, right? So if you look at ETH at the top of your guys' screen here, what are you noticing? You're noticing that the drives are getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Price is going from straight up to rounding off, right? Number two thing you could use is something like a trend, right? And you could say, what trend has carried us into this expansionary environment? Hourly trend, not bad. Is there anything tighter? Okay. The 30-minute trend, right? The 30-minute trend is pretty damn tight, right? So if the trend that carried us into this expansive environment above composite value area highs is now being lost and price is trading back within value, it needs two things. It needs to, one, establish respect for the next high time frame trend, which I believe in this environment was the 4 hour, right? It needs to use the 4 hour to continue trending higher, and number two, it needs to reclaim the 30 minutes. So the minute that your risk off signal here is when you're failing to continue off your 30 minute, right? The most respected trend. When you're failing to continue off of this and you drop below it again, that's your signal that momentum is cooked, right? The trend that carried you into that expansive environment is lost. The backstanding trend cannot do anything for you. And once again, when the 30-minute trend is lost here, it's not a reclaim. It's just turning into chop, slop, mess. It's fucked. To me, that is your range loss, right? Apply the exact same mechanic in reverse at the range lows. I need to make it before the music stops is a big reason why most people blow up or round trip. Yeah, I agree, man. I think there's a lot of like markets are a lot of like tennis or golf or anything. It's kind of you versus you. Yes, you have opponents. Yes, the landscape shifts. Yes, the market meta will shift. Yes, the leaders in the market will shift. Yes, certain systems will go from being super reliable to less reliable. But at the end of the day, it's you versus you, right? It's your psychology, it's your willingness to either click buy or click sell, right? And a lot of people get in their way. You're the one clicking, buy or sell. You're also determining your size. You're also determining your risk. And if you put this self-imposed pressure on yourself to say, I have to make it by this year, it's almost impossible to live up to, man. Give yourself multiple years. Give yourself multiple years and treat it like a game. Treat it like practice and just say, am I getting better every single quarter? Am I getting smarter? Am I making better decisions? Am I executing better? Am my asset selection better? Is my read on the market better? Is my analysis better, right? All these things are getting you to the place you want to go. But if you just come in and your only goal is, look, I got to make it, end of story. And you just post that on your wall, just like right on your wall, I got to make it by X date. What is the plan there? Like, what are you going to do? All you're going to do is be stressed and stressed and stressed. And eventually take more and more risk to compensate because you're like, oh, time's running out. I got to fucking send it. And then that's it. You're cooked. Like the way that I did it with this market, right? Man, I'm not going to say that I didn't deal with immense like pressure and stress because I put a lot of pressure on myself. But I did it in a kind of systematic manner. I came into the market, whatever. But basically in 2022, early 2022, I knew in the back of my mind, I want to do this full time. I want to do this as a career. I want to do this job. I want to bet on myself. I want to do this. And for the first half of that year, I was like, do I even have any skill set to even like attempt this? And once I started displaying, I was like, look, I'm not a profitable trader, but I'm breaking even all the time. I'm not losing money. I'm struggling to be profitable and consistently hold on to my money, but I'm not losing money. So that's got to mean something. Also, my read on the market's not bad. Like I generally know if things are going to go up or down by looking at a chart, right? But my execution's poor, right? My game plan of how to execute on that is not as good as it should be. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, I can kind of do this. And when I tried to make the shift to say I'm going to go full time and everything like that, I layered it out in like quarters and years. And I was like, okay, all I have to do is cut out the errors this quarter. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to solve for the best things that I have, the best tools that I have, the best skills that I have, the best setup that I have, and I'm going to cut out everything else. Okay, next quarter, right? Now the portfolio is going up and to the right instead of, straight and to the right. Okay, next quarter, what is my weakness in the market? Okay, my weakness is I can't extract value from a trending market. Okay, who's good at trading trends? Let me go learn from them, right? Like I've told this story a million times, but the way to make it in markets is just be a little smart about it. Like if you're just coming in with a degen mentality, you could win, but you're not going to learn anything, Try to pick up on some things across the market. How do you distinguish between a point of breakdown that signals a lower trend? Let me read this again. How do you distinguish between a point of breakdown that signals a lower trend versus buying the bottom of a V-shaped recovery? I bought the bottom of what I thought was a V-shaped, but it was a... Okay, let me explain what a point of breakdown is. You have one clearly in your chart right here. Can you guys see in clear sight where the point of breakdown is on ETH using market structure, or even easier than market structure, using trends? Where was the trend loss and where was the devastation of selling? Where did the devastation of selling begin? That's your point of breakdown. End of story. You can apply this on multiple time frames. Where did the structure shift? Where did the trend be lost? And where did the momentum of selling begin? This is where that initiation of momentum began for one party. That's your point of breakdown. Can you look at Pendle or Hype? Yeah, I'm kind of just stacking up all the... I will do Hype because Hype looks, I think, tremendously clean again for the third week in a row. We'll look at Pendle as well. I just kind of like stack them towards the end so that I could just do all the altcoins at once. So I don't just like ping pong back and forth. Felt like people overthought the all-time high SFP, saying it was too easy. Overthought. I think, the signals for me wasn't actually on Bitcoin. It was on ETH, right? ETH traded all the way within like 1% of its all-time high. And if you looked at like Froth signals, ETH's total global open interest almost flipped Bitcoin's. And a lot of people are saying this is because of the Athena trade, this is because of this is because of that. I kind of did a little bit of snooping into that. I also asked my friends that do a lot of stuff on chain what their thoughts were on this. And the conclusion we all came to is the Athena trade only accounts for like less than 10% of ETH's total market cap, or ETH's total open interest. So it's most sources that I got were saying it's around 5% of ETH's open interest. So people are thinking it's like 40% or 50% or just completely wrong. When you have an asset that's worth, less than half of Bitcoin doing as much open interest as Bitcoin, I think that's, it should be a signal. For me, it should be a signal. That's what it is. So, a little frothy. Also, Bitcoin no longer leading the market. Also, last weekend on Saturday, all altcoins across the market were ripping. To be honest, if I'm being super honest with you guys, I was impressed or surprised by this move. Right? So I was long Bitcoin from this wick last week, 15.8. And I held it into the weekend. And when we got this push into here and dropped down, I actually closed my long. And I missed this. Because Saturday, altcoins were fucking going crazy this weekend. Like Bitcoin was flat and choppy and no volume. And altcoins were going nuts. Most of them were up a lot. ETH was up a lot. Link was up a lot. Everything was having fun. And I was like... yeah, you know what? I'm just going to wait to see what Monday brings. I missed a big ripper. I mean, thankfully I pivoted. I caught this move perfectly. That made up for it a little bit. But I didn't expect this move at all going into last week, to be honest. I already thought we were getting pretty damn frothy across the market. I caught that one on Bitcoin. I also kind of fucked up an ETH trade. I longed ETH right here Monday morning last week and TP'd this candle. My entry never would have been retested. Would have been a banger. Do you think AI trading bots will eventually make classic trading obsolete? No. I don't think so. Damn, that was a good lesson. Yeah, I appreciate it. Do you still believe Q3 is for alt accumulation? I think so. I think every single risk on market that's led by majors, normally it's led by Bitcoin. Right now it's being led by ETH. Eventually distributes into a kind of risk on season for alts. The thing is, we're lacking narrative. So like each alt season is spurred on by its own narrative, right? Whether it's Solana on-chain season or meme coin season or AI agent season, right? There's always kind of a background narrative that's driving alt price action, right? RWAs or whatever. We're lacking that at the moment. That's what's lacking more than anything in alts is we've kind of recycled the same. How many times are we going to long meme coins, right? It's like it's going to we have a deadline on it before we get just fucking exhausted of longing meme coins. We've played out Solana top and bottom, right? Like we've done everything with that. So there will be new opportunity. We just gotta decide what the narrative is for driving that. Like Bonk just did a crazy rally. Bonk just went crazy risk on because it had a narrative. Hyperliquid has been strong because it's fundamentally strong. Link is doing really well right now. They announced buybacks and it caught wind and people are talking about, well, actually it's the real XRP trade and normies are catching on to it, right? So we're just missing that in the market right now. We're missing a classic narrative in the market. If you want some Hopium, I can dish out some Hopium to you guys. I can dish out some Hopium just for the fuck of it. Last cycle, we didn't get our alt season until ETH was in price discovery. Alts were sitting at around all-time high, but we didn't get the alt season until ETH went into price discovery and started holding in price discovery. So here's ETH, struggling around all-time highs, getting a lot of pullbacks, blasting through, perfectly retesting all-time high, and then going fucking nuts, right? While ETH was right here, right around all-time highs, guess what else was? Total 3, just hanging around right here. When ETH went crazy, that's when alts went crazy. So if you want that traditional style alt season, just pray for ETH, man. Pray for Tom Lee. Pray for the treasury Ponzi's. Pray for ETH to 10K. That may spark the animal season or animal spirits across the market, and we may just forget, like, oh, screw a narrative. Everything's just going up, and then price itself becomes the narrative. ENA isn't the only one putting on the basis trade. You're right, but ENA accounts for the largest basis trade. First time in stream, very clear and organized. Appreciate it, man. I have been doing this for a while now. This is my 2025 third year streaming. I started in 2023. Why do people chase beta that underperform when they could just go max long ETH and outperform? It's old school mentality that used to work a lot. So it used to be that, you know, if ETH was doing well, all you had to do was go on ETH on chain and long a bunch of DeFi protocols. If AVAX was doing well, you just had to go on AVAX chain and long a bunch of AVAX protocols, right? If Solana was doing well, you just go on Solana and long a bunch of Solana coins and they're going to outperform Solana. That used to be super relevant. Like, I remember I caught the tail end of this, right? I learned this very, very late because, like I said to you guys earlier in the stream, last cycle, I didn't fuck around with alts at all. Like I kept it very, you know, in-house tight. Like I didn't really speculate on much until like DeFi kingdoms and stuff. But I do remember very late in the cycle, FTM Phantom going nuts. And the first thing everyone around me did, the second Phantom caught our bid, is they just longed, I forget the name of the coin, Spooky Swap? Was that what it was? They just longed the Dex coin on Phantom. And the Spooky Swap did like a 2x, like instantly, right? That used, so it's like old habits die hard. That's why people do the beta chasing thing. Are the trend EMAs using chart time frame? Yes, sir. I think ETH-BTC ratios are mostly done for this cycle. Is a strong move, but the bulk of it is done seemingly. Here's the thing, man. The thing about fading trends is you really need to have a strong reason to do so, whether it's momentum loss or a unique level to work with or a thesis. It's you know, if you did that over here and you're like, the ETH-BTC bottom's in and the bottom's in, the bottom's in, the bottom's in, the bottom's in, right? You would think that it's just like, it's sold off so far, when is it going to stop? You know, there was levels the entire way down. It did a full retrace before it bounced. This is the first weekly trend flip in 3 years. Let me say that again. This is the first ETH-BTC weekly trend flip in 3 years. Maybe take a second before calling top. That's all I'm going to say. You're free to do what you want. You know? Take it from me. I made this mistake earlier this cycle. It was one of my biggest regrets. I was giga bullish Solana. Giga bullish Solana. I was very early to this trade. I bought the bottom on Sol. Maybe not the Pico bottom, but I bought it $11 and I bought it $14. I had a very low cost basis. I even traded in the Solana range. You know, I sold the XRP you know, day where there was like super euphoric, you know, and everything went crazy when XRP won its lawsuit against the SEC. And the following month, the SEC sued like Binance and Coinbase and whatever. And I forget, something else happened. Solana got removed from Robinhood. And I remember buying that at like $13. So like I did very, very well. This was like a really core conviction trade. But when Solana started ripping against ETH in Q4 of 2023, I looked at this and I said, that's good enough for me. I'm going to rotate back to ETH. And guess what? A couple months later, I had to rotate back into Solana. I missed a Sol leg by rotating from Solana to ETH, and not ETH specifically. I longed like fucking LDO and OP, Optimism, which did okay. They did like 140% rallies or something like that, but Solana still outperformed it. Solana still outperformed it, right? So it was just a lesson in mid-curving trends, right? It was a big downtrend. It flipped bullishly. It pumped a lot. I went like, oh my god, I think I did well. It's time to go back to ETH, right? Like ETH is gonna pump now. But that's the thing with fading trends. Trends tend to last a while before they exhaust, right? Even if you thought like this is the end of this, it still lasted a while before it eventually died. And if you did the thing here where you're like, oh, it dumped a lot, it's probably going to bounce. It dumped a lot, it's probably going to bounce. It dumped a lot, it's probably going to bounce. It's just going. It's going down in a straight line. How do you differentiate froth versus bull market? Bull market is a long-standing uptrend of higher highs and higher lows, holding trends like the weekly or holding value outside of the yearly VWAP on a multi-week, multi-month basis. That is the definition of a bull market. Froth is things are going up for a reason, right? So like Bitcoin has a narrative, right? Solana had a narrative on-chain, right? ETH has the treasury company narrative. Hyperliquid has the fundamental basis narrative, right? Link has a narrative. BONKBOT had a narrative, right? Like all of these things had a, but when you start seeing, okay, Bonk is leading the market and has a narrative, But all of a sudden, now you're seeing all these coins that are kind of beta to bonk moving a little bit. But these things are just getting carried up by this guy. Now this guy is kind of topping and losing momentum and hitting resistance. And these things are going and people are very happy. This is froth. That's a local sign of froth. That has nothing to do with the high time frame, multi-week, multi-month uptrend on BTC. But seeing people rotate down the risk curve to the shittiest of the shit that has nothing to do with anything, and they're making money on that, that's froth. Thoughts on looking at inverse charts? Sometimes market trend shift looks more obvious. I inverse my charts once in a while when I want to make sure that my bias isn't being led by being a bull. So what I mean by this is I'm always looking for longs. You guys know I don't short that much. So often if I feel like I'm getting caught in a bias, I'll invert my charts and I'll say, will I still long this? And sometimes the answer is yes. Meaning, if I invert this and I go, would I long this? Am I bullish on this? Right? And if the answer is yes, and I'm like, damn, I should look for a pullback and trend continuation, then I adjust my bias on the normal chart and go, I probably shouldn't be as bullish as I need to be just yet. This isn't the right time just yet. There's a lot of checks in the way. Boomer streamer, yeah. Hey guys, this is main mate who is sitting next to me. What? Too late to de-risk on spot altcoin positioning, I assume. Would you consider doing so if Bitcoin pushes the 4-hour trend? I always say you just treat your spot bags and your altcoins for their charts, mostly, right? So if you have a fundamental thesis on something, play your coins based on that thesis, right? So like, for example, like pump fund. Right? If you're saying, look, this is probably putting in an accumulation range. We're pushing into the listing anchored VWAP. This is a common support, or this is a strong support resistance level. This is the daily trend. If we hold above this, I will hold my bags. If we lose this level, I will cut my bags. So you don't wait to kind of de-risk based on everything across the market. Treat your coins for what they are, right? If you have a game plan in your coin that says I will long to this level, I'll take profits at this level, I'll cut my bag at this level, you should do that, versus being like, oh man, please Bitcoin just pump 1 more % so I can sell my alts, right? That's the worst way to do it in the market. Did stream go down? Did the stream go down? Let's check. We back? We down again? We back? Are we back or are we not? Oh, damn. 120 viewers, only 57 likes. Brothers, hit the like button. Hit the like button, my friends. Can we get 100 likes on the stream before I stop streaming? Okay, we're all good. Kenji right here. We're setting a new record for how many times we've used the trend command today. I think 4, 5, 6 questions based on the trend. All right, so on my end, for anyone who's complaining on the stream, I have 0 dropped frames, full bars. I have 1 gig upload speed. I'm not really sure. It's saying like no dropped frames, no connection issues, full bars, full upload speed. I'm watching the stream on my end too. So I have YouTube pulled up, I have the stream pulled up. It might be either a YouTube thing or maybe your internet thing. It's kind of weird that like so many of you are saying it though. I mean, I believe you guys. Like I'm not arguing. I believe you guys, but it's perfect on my end. Thank you, Johan. Or Johan. All right, all good, all good. As long as we're fine, we're fine. Did I miss anything? I always look at altcoins against Bitcoin valuations. In my opinion, it's the best approach to risk. This is why I swapped everything back to Bitcoin at the end of last cycle. Yeah, it's a good take, man. Well done. Open BONKBOT and do sand. I will. Offer, I promise. I'll do it before the stream ends. 100% I will. Did you enjoy Battlefield 6? 100%. The game's so fun with friends. Great game to play with like 3 friends, man. Super fun. But I will say it's just a brain rot shooter if you're just playing alone. Like, I could never play that game by myself. I tried a little bit yesterday because yesterday was the last day of the beta, and I was playing a little bit at night by myself, and I was like, yeah, this ain't it. Any spot alts you like personally? I've been struggling with altcoin conviction in 2025. I've had numerous altcoin spot positions. In fact, like, that was my number one way to make money in the market, is positionally trading altcoins for the bulk of this market. In 2025, I haven't done that. In 2025, I've been pure kind of trader, intraday trader, interweek trader. I haven't really been a positional trader, altcoin trader that much. That being said, there has been opportunities out here for sure. Like Hyperliquid from $9 to $44, $50. Like, there's been opportunities across the market for altcoins for sure. It's just most of my conviction bets have played out. So I'm not too hyped on any alts right now. I'm just personally, like, as a trader, my thing right now is just working on sizing up, consistently sizing up on my intraday, intraweek trades. Like, I've made more money trading this year than holding alts by just a tremendous amount. Most people know me for that, though. It's a big kind of it's a big shift for me. I think for people that have been following me for a while, 2025 has been a big shift in how I interact with the market, how I trade the market, how I view the market, what my goals are, what my plans are, versus 2024. Like, almost black and white, day and night shift. 2024, people know me for being a trend trader, high time frame trader, positional trader, altcoin trader. 2025, I'm low time frame, intraday, mean reversion, using flow, trading only Bitcoin, right? So it's almost completely 180 degrees different in just the course of a year. Interesting. Most people saying the stream is good. A few people, I'd say like three people saying the stream's not that good. So I have no idea. Like, I'm watching it on my end. I have the stream open. So I literally have YouTube open right now. I have the stream playing. And I can tell if it's buffering, obviously, right? I can see whether, the stream stops. I can see the watch list on the right side, if it stops flashing red and whatever. So it's fine on my end. I don't know, it must be a YouTube thing. The good thing is, the VOD will be here. Like, you can come back and watch the VOD and everything will be timestamped, right? Can you do FARTCOIN? Okay, let's start moving around. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll start going through some alts. Is it better to scale in and out of positional trades, just full size and do nothing? So my biggest positional trades this cycle, my high conviction ones, the ones that I held for over a year, and some of those went into long-term capital gains territory and stuff, were PEPE and Solana, and I never full exited either. The maximal that I exited was on PEPE. I took 80% out when it did a 10x in March, or was it March or April of 2024? It did a 10x over the course of like a week, and then it lost the 4-hour trend. And I was like, dude, I need to lock this in. It's going to retrace like 30% to the daily. I'm not giving this 30% back. This is crazy amount of money. And it worked out very well for me because I got to compound that money back in the weekly. Did you expound to my argument? I must have not. I don't know. I don't remember what your question was. Only alt I like is useless, so we can start moving into alts now. I kind of remember. Okay, so does this make me, guys, by the way, does this make me a Elliott wave trader? Because as far as I know, all Elliott wave traders do is doodle on charts. I think every doodle that I've done for you guys on useless over the past several months, so not several months, I guess July 7th, what are we, 6 weeks, has played out. So no Stradamus with the doodles, man. That's it. Like, this is it. This is the entire analysis. The analysis was 4-hour trend loss is going to give you daily trend tags. Daily trend loss is going to form a range-bound environment. A range-bound environment is going to cater to buying range lows and selling range highs. You don't really want to diddle in the middle. You don't really want to take high EV bets. There are no high EV bets in the middle of a range. Wait for range lows again. If you deviate and tag this demand block, there it is. It takes a lot of discipline to sell into good sentiment. To be honest, I would 100% agree with you. I'll never forget this day. This is the most impactful day, the hardest sell I've ever had to do, and it took talking to my girlfriend to sell here. So when this happened, I actually didn't sell full stack. I literally did not sell full stack because I couldn't bring myself to. I actually sold it here. It was fortunate. Like it all. Fairy tale. We're not going to get into it, but I'm just going to talk about the sentiment part. This day, PEPE got a wombo combo of good news within 24 hours. It got a Robinhood listing, a Coinbase listing, and an Upbit listing all within like 24 hours and did like a 3x, right? Or something like that. Almost a 3x. And I had been compounding this position for years. My PEPE story starts in April of 2023. And when I got that, I didn't want to sell. I really didn't. I really didn't want to do it, but I was like shaking. I was like, holy fuck, it's happening. The thesis played out. I was correct. Like, fuck everyone that flooded this. I was like in my bag, in my head. And I remember feeling fantastic. And then I had to talk to my girlfriend. I was like, all right, I'm jittery. And she like, let me make you some tea to calm down. And I recognized at that moment, I was like, I've never felt like this before. I need to take profits. And all I could bring myself to do was I think it's written in Paragon. I could go back and look at it. But I think I took 20% out at this high. And I told the group, I was like, I will relong the daily trend if given. I relonged the daily trend. I did not sell this top. And I sold into this crab right here. And that's pretty much the end of my PEPE story. I have some PEPE that I bought recently, but it is nothing like the size that I had up here. Do you short, Doc? Not in a long time. Is holding full portfolio in ETH or Bitcoin is okay? Yes. Historically speaking, buying Bitcoin at any price is okay. I wouldn't recommend just being, nonchalant DCAing at any price, but historically speaking, it has worked out well. Are there any programs you need to purchase in order to learn Paragon, like exocharts? No, not necessary. Everything that I teach is based on TradingView. I use Insilico for executions, which is free. I use Kiyotaka, which is free. I use Agger, which is free. Yeah, nothing on my end. Not a ticker asker, but usually look at Tell. Yeah, look at Tell. I know people asked about Pengu and Solana and Hyperliquid. I will get to them, I promise you. Do not. Do not stress. I will get to them. And if I missed one, you can always tell me. It is what the old doodles say it is. It's an arranged bound environment, right? This is your accumulation. This is your expansion. Failure to hold outside expansion and dropping back into accumulation, puts you back into this accumulation environment. It's chopping around. You're bullish on it. You buy it at a discount. You sell it at a premium. End of story. If you get outside of expansion, try to sell on this parabolic move. Sell when low time frame trends are lost. If it pumps out and you don't take any profits and it drops back into the range, full stack exit on the re-entry, like right here. That's the best you can do. End of story. Is price going below the top end of your weekly trend, your last resort invalidation on long-term spot hold? I'm going to leak a little bit to you guys here. My invalidation on the cycle is actually based on the CME chart right now. When we lose the weekly trend on the CME chart, the cycle's over. End of story. Some people could say the same thing with Bitcoin on the 365-day rolling VWAP. So let me pull this up for you guys too. Let's get a rolling VWAP on here. This is how yours works. There we go. 365-day rolling VWAP, but I think the cleaner and better signal is actually going to be on the CME chart with the weekly trend. Is grass cooked forever? I think so. I think you should do a full breakthrough of your PEPE story and set it so the bots link it in chat because we keep talking about it every stream. That's probably fair, man. I think because there's so many lessons you can learn about that. You can learn market psychology. You can learn accumulation ranges. You can learn how to trade trends. You could talk about sentiment. You could talk about top signals as far as people flipping from the whiff trade to the PEPE trade at the Pico top. You can talk about ETH beta. You can talk about PEPE BTC charts, PEPE ETH charts, ETH BTC charts. You can talk about everything under the sun can be explained through that experience. So that's why it keeps getting brought up, because I traded the fuck out of it for multiple years. So, there's an example there for a lot of teachable moments. Do you only, I get asked a lot of repeating questions per stream too, man. I got to do my best to understand that new people come into the stream every week. They may ask questions that have been asked frequently before. I got to do my best to answer them to the best of my ability without, being burnt out and exhausted by it too. Do you only trade New York? I would say, man, I wish I knew the statistics. I don't have, TradeStream stopped partnering with Insilico, so I don't have these stats anymore of like sessions per trade. But I would say, yeah, 75% of my trades come in New York session, 80%, if not more. I feel like it's more. I'm probably downplaying it. You almost hit all of it? Yeah, I think compounded my PEPE returns were like 500x. No shit. No lie. The thing is, I did have to pay tax for 2024, or 2023 and 2024 to pay tax 2 times. Because I did trade it in 2023 for compounding trades, and then I bought and sold in 2024. I only had a little bit of it that qualified for long-term capital gains tax. Most of it ended up being traded intra-year. Like the stream. I appreciate you, Charlie. Yeah. If you guys could do me a favor, hit the like button. And last time I'm going to shill it, but if you guys, people ask every week, I never have stream discount codes for Paragon, but this week I do. So if you guys do want to check out Paragon, that'll get you a discount at checkout. And there's a link for Paragon in the description below. Can you check out REI? Yeah. I need to get into alts. BMNR. How do you size into a coin? Is it like 50% or full 100%? Meaning, do I scale into a coin or do I one entry a coin? I'm 99% of the time just one entry a coin and not scale in. Second time in the live stream, great stuff. Yeah, appreciate you, man. How long you been trading overall? Hold on. I kind of did this the other day because I wanted to save this for something. Let's see if it's still on here. Oh, look at this. I actually had... There you go. I'm gonna leave this on the screen for a minute while I talk to chat, so you guys could read about it. I didn't actually finish this. I wanted to make this a lot better and more detailed and everything like that, and really, you know, highlight different intricacies, but yeah. I'm gonna let you guys actually like either screenshot this or just pause this, or maybe we can come back and talk about this later in the stream, but I do want to get the chart requests stuff for you guys, so let's run through those real quick. We can come back to that. Solana trading outside of 2024 value. One thing is, it is kind of setting up a lower high right now, right? So here's your high, here's your lower high. Where is it getting stuck at? The yearly value area high, right? So Solana, this is the last checkpoint, right? Above, holding above 200, accepting above, holding above 200 opens up the 260 level again. That's as simple as Solana is for me. This is the same kind of situation we did last time, where we kind of set a high, we tagged the yearly VWAP, we SFP'd the high, and then we kind of sold off for a bit. We're doing somewhat the similar situation here, right? The $200 level is not only a psychological level, it is also the yearly value area high. So keep that in mind. It is resistance. Out of all of the majors in the market, Solana is meh, you know? I do think Solana will have another rally before this cycle's over, because Bitcoin dominance is in a downtrend now. So everything should temporarily go up against Bitcoin as long as ETH continues dominating the market. All right, where's FARTCOIN? So FARTCOIN, this is your 3-tap setup. I believe I talked about this last week. Here's your anchored VWAP from the March lows. This is your yearly VWAP. This is your daily demand. This is your range low. All confluent in one region. Low, deviation of that low, market structure break, take out the high that led to the low. You're now looking for a higher low, right? Low, higher high, higher low, 3-tap of this level. This is the region to defend on FARTCOIN, and you're looking for a higher high. Basically, it's drawn in this schematic. If you make money on this, actually, if you tag me on Twitter, I'm not going to see it. I have notifications off. I was going to say tag me on Twitter, but I'm not going to see it anyways, so just have fun. Who cares? You don't DCA? But why? Because I think DCA is an inferior strategy when you know what you're doing with the market. Why purposely get a worse price if you have confidence in your skill set? Let me see. Okay, Hyperliquid. Super important. So Hyperliquid, I'm going to have detailed analysis in the cookbook soon. That should have gone live already. Let me check Twitter real quick. Did they already drop the cookbook? Not yet. May come out in a couple hours, but I'm going to have a detailed write-up on Hyperliquid in there. Also, some psychology is dropping. I really do want to just cover Bitcoin and ETH every week on the cookbook, but all the homies want to cover Bitcoin and ETH, so I'm doing the take a back step to the other boys spiel every week. Anyways, Hyperliquid mid-range, daily trend. So from a range bound perspective, this is at mid-range. Are the highest quality trades in the market going to come from mid-range? No. Nonetheless, it is a pretty clean level. 41.42 has shown respect multiple times to give you a bounce. You also have the daily trend confluence. We deviated below it. We took some lows. We tagged range lows. We ran to the highs. Very, very clean range. Mid-range, daily trend. And to show you guys how clean the trend respect is, the minute the 4-hour trend was lost, we gapped down to the daily. This is where you want to see this bottom. Now, that is your quick range and trend kind of take on Hyperliquid. Your VWAP take is just as clean. So what do you guys see here? Super clean respect for the monthly, holding outside a monthly value. The minute we start rotating back in a monthly value, we tag the monthly VWAP, right? Quarterly VWAP. Quarterly VWAP is flat, catering to a range-bound environment. Think about when I talked about the range just a couple seconds ago. Anytime a VWAP is flat, it caters to more of a range-bound environment. The quarterly is flat, so keep that in mind. Rotating back down to the 40s should be a buying opportunity. I don't think you should be scared if we do get back down to these range lows, but nonetheless, this is a good interim checkpoint, right? You're finding a little bit of a bounce off the monthly here, finding a little bit of a bounce off the quarterly here, mid-range and daily trend, right? If daily trend is lost, what are you guys going to get? Say it with me, the weekly trend and range lows. All right, brother. Just watch the VOD. I don't know. I think it's a YouTube thing because I'm getting feedback from like 20 other people in chat that it's fine for them, but there's 3 or 4 of you where YouTube's kind of screwing you guys. I don't know, man. I don't know. I apologize though. We are losing a bunch of viewers, so I think it's happening for everyone. Like the viewers have gotten cut in half, so I don't know what to say. The Bears got your stream. Hey, it's okay, man. The VOD will be there. You guys can watch the VOD. All the coins will be timestamped. It's fine. I apologize, though. I know that struggles if you guys want to ask a question and the stream's pausing every time you want to hear the answer. It's got to be frustrating, so I feel for you. Okay. Hyperliquid done. Did anyone ask about Athena? I'm not sure. Athena's showing some sense of momentum loss, in my opinion. You want the daily trend to hold. It has driven up a couple times. You don't want to see Athena, in my opinion, trading and holding below the yearly. If we start holding below the yearly, I think a bigger correction is in order. But for now, the most bullishly optimistic thing is look for momentum loss into the daily. I'm going to remove the VWAPs for you guys. Look for momentum loss in the daily right here. Hold the daily, and things look okay. As long as we hold here, things look okay. If we drive down a little bit lower to the daily 200, to the H4 200 EMA, I do think then you're setting up for a lower high. So if we do drive down all the way to like 60, I do think the next push will be like a lower high. It probably needs to reset a little bit of momentum before continuation. It's been very strong for very long. No one asked about Ondo, PEPE, or Link or anything like this. We got Solana. Someone said PENGU. I remember PENGU. I think it's headed for the weekly. Low, high, mid-range. Low, high, mid-range. Daily trend, weekly trend. I think we called the top of this one live, like on stream, which is honestly not the... It's not the greatest top call of all time. It literally just ran to all-time highs. Like, there's nothing special about that. You held the 4-hour trend. You ran all the way to all-time highs. You lost the 4-hour trend. You know that it's going to enter a little bit of a range-bound environment. The best place to buy PENGU if you're bullish on it again is 22 if given. I think that would be your kind of like supreme buy the dip opportunity if given. If not, and it continues holding around this mid-range level where a bunch of these stacked lows are, it caters more to a range-bound environment. So the next drive up will probably be sold into, it'll probably drive down, it'll probably continue ranging until it breaks out of this consolidation for continuation. Tom Lee is the GOAT of fuck you higher. Tom Lee has just been saying higher on everything for 3 years in a row and just being right, because he is a giga bull in a bull market. He is the TradFi version of, if you guys follow him on Twitter, BDB. I'm not going to say his full name, but BDB is basically the Tom Lee of crypto. It's just, he's just a giga bull in a bull market, and he's getting proving right. He's just like, I expect new all-time highs on Bitcoin. I expect new all-time highs on S&P 500. I expect new all-time highs on the NASDAQ. And because we're in a bull market, he looks like a genius. I bought hype at 36. Plan to buy more. You didn't get the entry. Is this the wrong approach? What do you think? It's just telling me that you're not confident in your plan to 36. You think it come to 30. That's too wide of a area to kind of, that's just too wide. It's 20%, right? So if you can't nail the bottom within 20%, maybe the system needs a little bit of help. Maybe the analysis needs a little bit of help, right? So that you could take your trades with a little bit of a tighter invalidation. You should never be buying something, in my opinion, in crypto, and dealing with like that much, in my opinion, especially like in a trending environment. So 36, I think, is the top of a trend, right? It was a trend pullback. Oh, unless it's this, right? So it's the weekly trend tag. Oh, I see what you did. I see what you did now. So you bet half at the daily 100 and the other half at the daily 200. I understand what you did. So you're basically saying you're going to bid the entirety of the weekly trend and it didn't get filled. So what you can do in this circumstance, if that's the take you want to take, or if that's the trade you want to take, is look for opportunities when you're being proven correct off the weekly, right? You're getting the weekly trend tag, you're getting the compression under the 4-hour. When you get these kind of moves, have a backup plan, and your backup plan could be like, okay, if I'm only going to bid 50 here, I can put the other 50 when we get the compression from the 4-hour to the daily, right? And then at the daily, you can see, is price action rejecting here, or are we breaking through? If there's a rejection and a 4-hour trend loss, you can cut the other 50, right? You could just take it as a trade. So what's the TLDR here? Have backup plans to your plans. Don't just have one plan. Bitcoin looking good. Back in value. This is the last point for the bears. If bears cannot hold it here at 17K, in my opinion, we're going to go a lot higher. This is the point where bears need to hold it. The daily's probably already looking like a wick, which looks awesome. Okay, let's go over to the BONKBOT. Let's look up offers Sanch. Okay, someone help me. Tigger is sand. Chart it. All right, tan, sand. Here we go. Where is it? Okay, I remember this being right here. I remember this price action vividly. This like grind up. I want to get rid of volume because I don't care. Six hour, 4 hour. All right. Now let me ask you, did you take any profits on 4 hour trend loss? Because you watch my stream every week. You know my system. You know when I say to take profits. You know when to de-risk. I'm curious. Did you take any profits? Or are you just holding with a wider stop and saying it better hold the daily here? Because for me, if I buy a low cap coin, well, it depends. You may have like super strong conviction on this. This wouldn't be a conviction bet for me. For me, it's just like this thing went up 5x in 10 days. I'm taking some profits, right? That's how my brain works. That looks good, man. Well done. I remember you shouting this out down here in this little grind up accumulation range. You know the problem with charting this on TradingView is I didn't know what the market cap was. I didn't know it was charting a 3 million market cap coin. You got me to shill your bags on stream, dude. Well done. I want to know, how do you execute this type of trade? I look for the reaction at the location that I want. So let's say Bitcoin here. I'm going to use this example. What's to say? It's the same thing. This is the Bitcoin. Weekly trend. If I want a long Bitcoin here, I'm waiting for price to get here. I'm looking for the reaction, and I'm building a lower time frame trade setup right here, where my invalidation will be nearby. My invalidation is not going to be down here. I'm not holding along this low. So there's no reality where I'm taking 50% here and 50% here and building a swing long. That's really dumb, in my opinion. It's a bad way to do it. I'm looking at this setup and I'm saying, is there a trade setup for me here? If there is, I'm taking it. I have an invalidation nearby. It's likely going to be executed on very low time frame. On the 1 minute chart, I'm going to be looking for the classic exhaustion, absorption, momentum loss, and initiation. I will be watching aggro. I will be watching flows. I will be looking at the order books. And I will be executing at that level if I find something with an invalidation nearby. If I'm wrong and things go lower, I will be doing the exact same thing at the next level. That's how I trade. I guess the stream did get cooked because we lost like 30% of the viewers. But it's interesting because if we only lost 30% of the viewers, I guess that's the same math that you guys were talking about in chat. It felt like 70% of you were saying the stream was fine and 30% were saying it's cooked. That felt like what the chat was saying, and then that's what the viewers are also saying. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's go back to BONKBOT really quick. So I actually, where is it? Wait, where's Brave? There it is. So I caught a trade on Bucky. I'm sure you guys have seen this coin somewhere around, right? Where is it? This one. Someone hit me up with this, and I bought this and TP'd on the way up. So this one was a decent one for me. It helped the port. Bought here, just sold on the way up. Didn't sell the Pico top, but still pretty decent trade. I need something to do with the 3.5 sol. Also, my account is not 3.5, so unfortunately, like I want a P&L curve, and I think telemetry is going to build that in. So one of the requests that I had for them was like, can I get a public P&L curve like built in here? Like just show me how much I entered into my account, show me how much my account is up, both on, you know, Solana terms and USD terms. Like give us those stats in here. That would like take this thing to the next level. Because some of this money in this account is from, like, you know, you guys sign up on the ref links and some money comes in. So I think like half a soul in here is from that. So that doesn't count. You held through the drawdown to 6 million earlier. Brett, that is a blast from the past coin. Little Brett Alpha. Brett is a cabal ass coin, man. Brett is a cabal ass coin. Also, I'm pissed that Magus made the Brett character more famous, in my opinion, than Matt Fury himself. And Magus didn't buy it or wasn't offered any of the coin. Because Magus is Brett. Can we get a setup if you had to enter here with invalidation? Yeah, sure. On what coin? Are you still bullish PEPE? Not like last year. Not even close. I'm bullish PEPE in the terms of it deserves to be the #2 meme in the market behind Dogecoin, and I do still think there's a possibility they could flip SHIB. I'm not bullish on the PEPE ETH chart or the BEPE Bitcoin chart. I'm not that bullish on meme coins in general. I do think they will have another wave because that's what this market always devolves into at the tops. Meme coins will have their week in the sun, for sure. But like it felt to me like the majority of the speculative premium on PEPE is gone. It kind of did what it needed to do. Try to restart. Bro, if I restart, I have to restart the stream, and there's going to be 2 links for the stream. And then on my channel, there's 2 links for the stream. There's going to be the stream part A and the stream part B. So that's why I don't want to do it. It's probably better that I just end this. If you guys are like struggling that bad, like tell me in chat, guys. Is everyone struggling that bad, or is it just these 3 or 4 people? Or the 3 or 4 homies? I don't mean to subjectify you guys and call you people. Is it just the 3 or 4 homies, or is everyone dying in chat, man? Oh, on Bitcoin? Okay, hold on. Entered around 115K. Okay. So you entered around 115K. So I mean, here's the thing. When people take trades and they don't know, how do I want to say this? They don't know going into the trade what their invalidation is and what their take profit is. How am I going to build that for you, right? At this point, were you taking it as an intraday trade? Are you taking it as a swing trade? Are you trying to nail the Pico bottom to new all-time highs, right? All these things factor in. I would tell you personally, if I caught this trade, which is a full reversion from lows to highs, I would already be taking profits because we're already at the composite value area high. Excuse me, daily value area high, right? We're already trading towards here, right? What do we have the confluence on up here? We have daily trend and 4-hour trend. The 4-hour trend still needs to be flipped by bulls in order for this, you know, bigger kind of wave of relief to occur. For now, where Bitcoin is just like where Bitcoin was right here. Where's my drawing tool, right? So you were above the daily holding the 4-hour trend after deviating outside, and it led to another rally up. This is the exact inverse of that. Holding the 4-hour trend to the downside, you're underneath the daily trend, you deviated outside, and you're in here. This is a place where bulls and bears are going to fight. People are going to take profits. Other people are going to short. Some people are going to open fresh long. Some people are going to buy spot. Some people are going to sell spot. This is a place where a battle is going to be done. Who is going to win? We have to watch the flows when they come in. So if you're long from here, a good place to take profits is you just take profits into here. But then you have to catch another trade. The thing with a lot of traders is they don't have the skill set to now take a fresh trade tomorrow, right? Based on the next day's price action. They don't know what to look for on the low time frame basis on, okay, we got New York open, these many longs open, these many people puke, this is the low time frame trigger, this is the entry that I want, this is the trade that I want, and I'm in fresh longs for the next day. That's something I can do, but I don't know if everyone can do that. And in fact, I would assume that most people can't do that because they haven't had enough practice with that. So what is your fear? Or maybe I'm using you as like the metaphorical you, right? A trader's fear out here is they got a good entry and they want to hold on to this entry. And they're like, man, I need to hold on to this entry because if I close here and it goes to 120, I'm going to feel so bad. Now, what you have to ask yourself as a trader is what is going to be worse for you? Are you going to be more upset if it round trips and you get stopped out for a minor loss or a break-even loss? Is this going to be more upsetting for you? Or is it going to be more upsetting for you if you take profit, lock it in, make your P&L curve go up, but miss this trade? That's something you have to do for yourself. Right? So I know how I would trade this. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes to figure out how you would trade this. And I'm just giving you the facts. So I'm laying out all the facts in front of you. Now you have to make a decision for yourself. Okay, so everyone's saying the stream's fine. It's just 3 or 4 people. Then that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Can you check REI USDT with the unit 00 REI tether on CoinEx? Any of the REIs with unit 00 is correct. Sure. Unit 00. There we go. All right. Clean daily uptrend, daily trend loss, gap down to the weekly. You want this to bottom down here at the weekly. This is where you want to see this round off and bottom on a high time frame basis. You do not want to see it trade below here. So if you're looking for a position, this is the place to look for that position and be bullish on that position. How do you tell if a Cabal coin is a Cabal coin? Well, I'm lucky. My friends just tell me. I'm lucky. I have friends that are just like trenchers and they just tell me. Wait, I mean Bert. Bert is a Charlie coin. So when Charlie streams tomorrow, ask him about Bert because I know he's gigalong Bert and he's bullish on it. So that's a good coin to ask Charlie about. ETH net shorts all-time highs, does that mean anything? I'll have to double check that myself. I would assume net longs are also at all-time highs. Probably just net speculation is at all-time highs. All right. Any final questions, homies? We'll wrap it up there. I'm going to try to cut my streams down from 2 hours to like an hour and a half. We went over today, but it's no big deal. It's not that much over. Do you read books on tradings or markets? No. I've read a few, and they all had to do with human psychology, nothing to do with market psychology. that I believe helped me. The funniest thing is the biggest book that helped me with trading is Nassim Taleb's Skin in the Game, which has very little to do with trading. I think he mentions it a couple times in the book, talking about his trades. But a lot of it is just examples of people that are readers versus doers. Readers read because they think that they're never ready to actually do. They're constantly trying to gather more and more and more and more information to be the best that they can be, so that when they start, they feel like they have an advantage and they know everything. That's just not reality in life. Doers learn more than readers. You need to do, you need to mess up, you need to learn from your mistakes, and then you get better. So I take that wholeheartedly as someone, that was an athlete. That's the way that I learned. Yes, I had coaches. Yes, I had people telling me, do this, do that, adjust this, adjust that, change this, change that. But it's as I'm doing. It's as I hit the ball. They hit me. They feed me 100 backhands. And during those backhands, they're giving me active feedback, right? I hit one in the net, they give me a little adjustment. I hit one long, they give me a little adjustment, right? That's how I believe in doing things. Same thing with trading. I believe that you should trade, do, mess up, learn, journal, repeat, try to get better and better and better and better. That's the best way to learn how to trade, is not by reading, but it's by doing. I'll be back next week to ask you about the trend a couple times. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I remember your DM, brother. What are the souvenirs and why are they socks? The souvenirs are actually, so I bought two things. I'll tell you guys. I'll tweet it out when they come in. But one is I commissioned PEPE artwork. So there's this artist on Twitter. I can actually, should I link her Twitter? Let me link her Twitter because we should give the artist credit. Where's the Brave? Here it is. So Pepe Angelo, she makes oil canvas Pepe drawings. And I went to her website and I bought one yesterday. And that's just to commemorate this cycle, Pepe being the conviction bet, one that helped me out a lot with trading and everything. It's a big part of my journey. And what better commemoration than some artwork to throw in the office, right? The one that I got is subtle. It's not like a big Pepe like this. It's like, it's a very small Pepe head amongst a lot of, regular kind of human people. I think it's based off some like historical artwork, right? I'm not an art nerd, so don't ask me what it was or what it is. But it looked very cool. It's very colorful. I feel like it's subtle. It's subtle enough to actually display in the house and not be totally cringe and have a big Pepe the Frog painting. When it comes in, I'll take a picture and post it online. And the second thing that I got was a Bold PFP. So you guys know Bold Leonidas. He commissions PFPs for people. And I hit him up and I asked him to make me a PFP. So I'm probably not going to use the PFP, but I would, he's become a big character in our markets. All of his memes go viral, right? He posts a bunch of stuff. He posts really good things. I think everyone knows who Bold is. So I got a PFP made from him, just again to commemorate this cycle and remember it. What do you do if we enter a bear market? Keep trading, man. Learn how to short. I already know how to short. I learned how to trade in the bear market. I'll leave you with this, and then we'll stop the stream. This is the last thing we'll talk about. This is my journey in markets. Entered the TradFi market right after COVID. Buddy hit me up, said, buy some stocks. I traded TradFi. It was honestly mind-blowingly easy just to keep buying calls on Apple every time Apple had a red day. Every single time Apple had a red day, all I did was buy calls. I thought I was really smart because I was being a bull in a bull market. My entire strategy was just buy the dip. That's not to say I didn't do stupid things in TradFi. I gambled on earnings calls and got wrecked on Amazon earnings and Facebook earnings, betting the wrong way, just completely gambling. I bought, SPACs when SPACs were super hot. So I was buying the warrants and the SPACs and they would release their whatever merger or whatever, and then the SPAC would pump. That was good trades back then. I bought Bitcoin and ETH on the Thanksgiving morning 2020 pullback. Obviously, Bitcoin and ETH ripped. Bitcoin was like 16, 17K. ETH was $500. Eventually, ETH went to 4K. Bitcoin went to 60, whatever. I bought alts at the very top. It wasn't a lot of money, but I still bought alts at the top. That altcoin portfolio drew down 80% in like 2 months. I literally bought the top on alts. But it was a small fraction of my total P&L. So it wasn't that bad, but it did piss me off that I was like that dumb, right? I didn't know what I was doing. That was my first humbling in markets that reminded me like, you don't actually know what you're doing, right? So when I got wrecked, I learned about Bitcoin. I actually read books on Bitcoin. I watched lectures on Bitcoin. I got orange pilled. I learned about money. I learned about Austrian economics. I learned about gold. I learned about the gold standard. I learned about inflation. I got very interested in this stuff, and I got very Bitcoin pilled. And when that happened, I decided I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I'm going to be a Bitcoiner and accumulate Bitcoin. I actually believe in this thing, and I want to see that thesis play out, right? That's what really drew me into crypto markets and drew me away from TradFi. That was the moment that I was like, okay, I'm going into crypto. I like this thing. The second kind of double bubble, I didn't expect it, right? A lot of people were saying the top is in, the bear market's coming. Like, I didn't really have a take on that. All I knew is like if Bitcoin went down a lot, I was going to buy some Bitcoin. We went up. I did better on alts. I didn't do great, but I did better. I bought lower. I sold higher. When Bitcoin had this correction in November going into December, I thought, hey, the top is probably not in. I'm going to buy the dip here. And I consolidated a lot of my altcoin gains, and I just bought Bitcoin. And I said Bitcoin's going to go higher. And I woke up this morning, and Bitcoin was trading at like 42K. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm retarded. I did it again. I have no idea what I'm doing. And this is where my arc started. This is where I became very, very, very serious. Started taking it serious, humbled myself, said I know nothing, started watching TraderXO streams, started reading Magus's content on Twitter, really took it seriously. Did the ICT mentorship in 2022. I took it very, 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 very seriously. And I traded almost every day of 2022. I was also studying for my exams. I had to take USMLEs that year. I wanted to apply for the match in the end of 2022 and get matched in 2023, but I fell so in love with trading that I was like, I'm going to do this full time, right? So 6 months in, I felt like I had a good read on the market. I felt like I knew directionally where things were going to go. Yes, I was taking L's, but I was also getting wins. I was trading the hardest condition market that it could be is a bear market, right? There's just so much noise, so much psyop, so much macro, so much this, so much blow ups, and I didn't blow myself up. And I actually left the bear market a winner. I made money in the bear market. I actually 2x'd my account in the bear market, right? So coming out of that, I had a lot of confidence. And the rest is history. Maybe we'll talk about the rest of, maybe we'll talk about this bull market and this stuff on the next stream. But this is pretty much, the TLDR of my trading journey, man. And that's where I'll leave you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. Have a good rest of your week. Hopefully learn something in this stream. And yeah, hit the like button on your way out. Last time I'm going to shill it. If you guys want to join Paragon, I don't think this code's going to be up for a while, but Mojito. And also shout out to the stream sponsors, which is BONKBOT and Coinbase Advanced. You guys will see the 5-minute market outlook sponsored by Coinbase Advanced tomorrow. That's your little TLDR for the week. Also, look out for Cookbook. The Cookbook article will be out later today, so check that out on Twitter. It's another free resource for education, trades, analysis, and everything like that with myself and a bunch of other legends in the market who I deeply respect and I'm honored to work with. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.